Hello, my awesome friends. It's the fake Sweets Collab, and you know what that means. I'm pulling out the whip topping, faux whip topping, that is. And I have a surprise for you. It's not just my usual spackle faux whip, but something else I learned. So stay with me to see what I create during this collaboration. Let's fake bake. So with any good recipe, you gotta start with the crust. So I use this air dry clay. It's in the color Skin. I got this from Glitz and Glue, and I just simply cut out these pieces using whatever I had on hand because I couldn't find my cookie cutters. So don't be limited to thinking you have to have all of these items. Just use whatever, and I'll show you at the end of this portion what I used. So here I am just making the outline of the crust, and I'm using a series of these different tools to create that crust-like look. And I'm actually making tarts. Two are the little tarts, and then one is a larger tart. And so I'm just using, like I said, the tools to make the outer design, and then the inner design I'm using something different. Now with the bigger one, I had way too much clay, so I had to remove some of it because I want to have room for my filling to sit on top. I hope that makes sense. I kind of was all over the place trying to figure this out because this is my first time making it from scratch like this. So now I'm showing you these little squares. These are going to be like a bar, so we don't need to have, I don't need an indentation. Now I'm using a little brush to kind of give it that look that it's really flaky, so you can use anything. I just happen to have this little brush and it works perfect. So here are the household items. I used the lid of a box, I used a little bowl, and I used this lid of a little container. Now let's see how I paint these to make them look baked. The one on the right is fully baked, and the one on the left needs some baking. So I'm just using the caramel, and I'm giving that a good paint all over the whole piece. And then once I have that completed, and you want to let it dry in between, I have this sped up so you can't really tell. And then I use a chocolate bar for the outside of the crust, because the outside or the top of the crust gets more darker. And then I believe I used a little bit of territorial beige as well. So I'm just making sure that I get all of my tarts nice and toasty so that I can prepare to place the filling. Now I'm going to put Mod Podge to keep them from cracking. So here in the fake bake number 1, I'm making my little tarts, and I'm going to use this styrofoam round to give me the form because I don't want to use a lot of topping. So I'm going to use this to keep me from having to use so much. So here I'm just cutting it down, and you want to just make sure that it's doesn't fit all the way to the edges so you have room. And here I'm just using my file to sand it down. So let's make lemon curd. Now this is one of my first techniques that's new to me, and I'm using this Gorilla Glue caulk and seal clear sealer, and then I put in a drop. I think I put like a drop and a half of the red. Well, as you can see, it turned it orange. So I thought, okay, let me just put some more caulking in there, or silicone is what it's called. And nope, still looks orange. So I said, okay, I'm gonna use that for something else. I'm gonna pivot and try something else. So here I go now thinking, okay, let me just put one drop and see if that helps. Still looking orange, put a little bit more of that silicone and mixing it up, and it still is orange. So that food coloring is not the greatest. So I added a drop of that Summer Porch, and it looks beautiful. I think that is perfect for a lemon curd. So here I'm going to go ahead and super glue my styrofoam little block onto my crust, and then I will just simply cover the styrofoam. Now, if you noticed, I didn't make that much lemon curd because I had already wasted quite a bit in the very beginning. So I decided instead of putting lemon curd all over the whole lemon, what is this called again? I forgot. A lemon bar. I decided to just do the lower portion of it, and then I was going to put some whipped topping on the top. So you'll see that. But this lemon curd mixture that I made, it looks so good. It looks so real to me. You should see it in person. Okay, now on to the spackle faux whip, and it's the same one I use all the time. It's a DAP lightweight spackle, and I don't really do anything to it except put it in another container and just mix it really well. And here I am just making sure that I cover all areas of the styrofoam because we don't want to let it be known that it's styrofoam because we're trying to make it look real. So then I'm using my little tool just to put some little air pockets in it to make it look more like faux whip. And then I'm just going to do the top. And then once I do that, I'm just with a up and down motion, I'm trying to make little peaks. And then once that dries, you have to make sure it dries completely. Now I'm going to go over it with that chocolate bar paint just to get like the, you know how when they torch it, it gets a little dark. And then at the very tip peaks, I use that, I think it was territorial beige. I'm not sure. It's the darker paint, and I get the tips, so it really looks good. Tell me what you guys think. All right, now let's make the lime filling. If this is going to be a lime bar or yeah, key lime pie, key lime bar, and I didn't show you guys how I made it, but it's basically the same thing. I put the silicone, I put a little dab of 2 dabs of green food coloring, and then I added 1 dot of the spring green paint, and that's how I got my look. All right, so here is number 3. I am making what I'm trying to make like little raspberries, and so I'm painting them, and I have used some some clay that already had a color to it. So this is very helpful when I do this part. Once it's completely dry, I'm just poking it with my little poker to create that looks like divots. So it could be raspberry, it could be strawberry, whatever you want to call it. But so now here I am making my filling again, and this one I used 2 dots of the red food coloring, and that one looks pretty good. 2 or 1? I don't know. I think I did 1. I'm not sure. But so I super glued the little seeds or fruit into the pie tart first, and then added the filling on top. And I thought, okay, that's a little bit difficult because I had to be careful not to, move them around. So here is my 4th fake bake. This is that orange looking mixture that I made, and I was like, I didn't want to throw it away. And at this point, this stuff has been sitting there for a while, so it was pretty tough to get out and move around. So you really have to work fast when you make this. So I thought, hey, how about apricot? Apricot can be a little sour sometimes. All right, so here is the 5th one. I'm moving right along. Now with the bigger one, I'm going to make a cherry tart. And I just took cherries that I got. I don't remember where I got them from. It was online. And I just cut them in half. And then now I'm making some more of that glossy look. And I believe this one I did 2 drops of the red food coloring. And I thought, okay, let me put this in first. That way they will sit on there, and I won't have to mess with it too much. Well, I didn't think about how much I was putting on the tart beforehand, so I didn't put enough, and it looked really sparse. So I had to end up making more. So this wasn't my favorite, and if I had to do it again, I would put all the filling in first and then just simply put my cherries on top, because it looked kind of messy at the end. But from a distance, it really looks real. So you'll see how I added faux topping to these items. And these ones, I did not use spackle. I found a new technique, and I found this from Tina on YouTube, Tina Creations, and she is amazing what she is teaching us. So let's see. Let's make topping. So I'm using this air dry clay from Glitz and Glue. Simply put it in your container. You put some Mod Podge and you just keep mixing, mixing, mixing. And I'm going to tell you, this is not easy. This was a little bit of work, but the outcome is so amazing. It really looks like frosting. And the cleanup is so much better than spackle because you know you can't put that down the sink. And once it dries, you can just simply peel it off of your container. So you just want to get the consistency. You can get the consistency that you want by just simply putting more Mod Podge. So here I am making this beautiful whip. It looks even better than spackle. I absolutely love it. This is my first time using it, so I made a little bit of a mess, but I'll get used to it. So here I'm just frosting all of my little tarts with this clay. It's clay, you guys. It just blows my mind every time I think about it. So now let's make a drizzle. Same stuff. I just took a little bit of that and I stuck it in my little cup and I added even more Mod Podge, and now it becomes a drizzle. The same exact thing. It is amazing. So now I'm just going to put it in this little lunch baggie. And then once I close it up, then I'm going to snip off just the tiniest little hole because you don't want it to come out in big globs. And then put a plate down, and there I go. I'm just going to go ahead and put this cute little coating on my apricot tart. Oh, what do you guys think? I love it. All right, now my last one. I'm making a cake out of this pumpkin. I'm going to use that summer porch paint, white chalk paint, and then I'm going to use the spackle on this one. Well, I'll show you why I'm going to use a spackle. So on the pumpkin, take the top off. You don't need it. And then you're just going to give it a coat, 2 coats of the chalk paint because you've got to cover that orange up. It's so bright. 1 coat doesn't work. And I think I'm showing you here that, you could still really see the orange. So you really need to use 2 coats of the white. So then I put the summer porch on that, and then I I super glued it to my little doily, and then I just put it on the board with a piece of tape for now, but I'll change that and you'll see. So here I am, and it's my faux whip, right? So you think it's spackle? No, it's not. In the beginning, I thought I was going to use spackle, but when I figured out that this whole clay thing works so good, I decided, no, I'm not going to use spackle on this. I'm going to use clay. So this again is the clay faux whip. And so I'm just going around the base of the cake. And now I'm going to go around the top. And, I had an idea, and I don't know, things just start happening when you start creating. And I know you guys know this. So I thought I need something to elevate because I'm going to put some fruit on top, and I want it to stand up. So I thought I'll use these pieces of leftover styrofoam. And of course I put the glue, super glue, and they weren't even touching the super glue. So I had to cut the pieces down so that I can fit them in there and have them secured with the glue. So once they're there, then I'm going to go ahead and continue with my spackle and cover that all up so you don't see that. So at this point, you're probably wondering, what is she doing? Well, I don't know. I didn't know myself. So I didn't like the way it looked. So I just took my little tool and I just made like swirly looks. And I was like, okay, this will work. And it looked okay at some point, but then I realized, this still doesn't look right. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm just gonna go with it. So I do the bottom. I just, sometimes you get this little block, and so here I have these little lemons. I had them in a display. I don't know where they came from, possibly Hobby Lobby or on Amazon. I'm not sure. So I just clipped the little tops of them off and I laid them on top of my cake. And there was only 2 leaves that came with that little bunch. So I decided to add those on there. I didn't want 3 leaves. I just wanted 2, and I was trying to get the correct position. And us creators, when we're in the midst of creating, things just don't seem to go as you want them to go. And every time I kept touching that lemon, I put super glue on it. It wasn't holding, and I would put pressure on the lemon to hold the leaf down so it could dry, and every time I did it, it kept moving my lemon and it kept going further and further off the middle. So that was a challenge for me. So I was getting a little stressed because it just wasn't working as I thought it should. And at one point, the glue right there, it even came off and fell on my frosting. I was like, oh, so I really wanted to give up at this point, but I said, no, let's just keep working on it. Well, that super glue did not want to stick to that slippery surface. So I ended up just putting hot glue on it to get that quick hold. And you'll see, I think I don't even show you the rest of it. Then I started putting sprinkles on and realized I wasn't even filming. So then here I am. I've got sprinkles all over it. So I didn't even have the camera rolling. So at this point, I got those from Etsy from Play Code 3. And I love that color packet. It's so cute with the little slices of lemons. Isn't that cute? And you see, I changed it now, the top of it, and then I put paper underneath so it has the pink showing through, but I made like a little scalloped edge to the top. So here's my reveal. I know I'm so winded when I try to explain things. I apologize. But isn't that look so pretty with the cherries, the fake cherries on there? I mean, you guys, this was just so much fun, and I am just so impressed that it turned out so good. And remember, that faux topping it's clay, so it's going to hold up better than spackle, and it has Mod Podge in it, so it's already going to be coated. No, it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be sealed. That's it. That's the word. And here's my cake. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I mean, I'm going to do this again because I know there's a better way of doing it. But I think for, my beginning adventures with faux foods, I think I did a pretty good job. So here it is, Squeeze the Day. I use that sign because it's the lemon theme. So everything, not lemon theme, sour theme. So everything I did today was some kind of sour sweet. So we have your key lime, your lemon meringue, bar, and then I did that lemon cake, and I did an apricot tart, and I did the cherry tart. So all of those are considered sour, right? And I hope you guys like my styling with these little boxes. I found them at the thrift store, if you can believe that. And they have all the little fruits on them, and I thought, oh, this is perfect. So I thought it would be great to use these boxes in the styling of my desserts. Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Tammy, both Tammys and Kiki, for putting on this collaboration. And thanks to all the ladies that are participating. And please go over and watch all of their videos. They put a lot of hard work into their sweet treats. And I have listed their channels in my description box for easy access. All right, you guys, thank you so much for stopping by and seeing my sweet treat creations, the sour edition. And be sure to come back later this week, or next week, sorry, because there was a couple more items that I made. I just couldn't put in this video because this video was so long already. So again, thank you for stopping by. I love you guys all. Love you guys all. Love you all, and thank you for your continued support, and just stay with me. I got more ideas and more things to share with you as time goes on. Bye bye. Keep watching.